The Iron Druid Chronicles might be complete, but Kevin Hearne is coming up with a new series that comes out on August 25th, and the first book in that series is Ink and Sigil. Hey BookTube, it's Fee. I got Ink and Sigil as an ARC from Netgalley, and I'm super excited because this is one of my most anticipated new releases of the year, and I totally would have spent my own money on this book if I did not get an ARC for it. Let's, just be real here. I really liked this book, and that's not really a surprise because I really liked Iron Druid. But I went into Ink and Sigil expecting it to be its own thing. A good piece of urban fantasy light, but still a story in itself. And it delivered, and I highly recommend it. Our hero, MacBharrais, is a sigil agent, a guy who draws symbols on paper with magical inks that are used to do, like battle and force contracts, normal stuff. This book is in the Iron Druid universe, so all gods are real, all faiths exist, and there are very set magical rules to keep them from interfering with mortals because then bad stuff happens if they decide to, cause drama and stuff. Al is an older man with a well-manicured mustache who runs a print shop as sort of a cover for his magical operations. His life isn't all sunshine and rainbows though, because the last 7 of his apprentices have met a very untimely end. Each a little bit different, so at first he didn't pick up on the pattern, how it goes. But when his latest apprentice, Gordy, meets his untimely end, Al realizes that Gordy has been involved in some very shady stuff. And there goes the mystery. Or, well, it starts, but I'm not going to tell you anymore because, spoilers. Al also has to communicate with everybody through a text-to-speech app on his phone because his voice will literally cause people to hate him. He's cursed, and he doesn't completely understand it. I think this is going to be one of those things that as the series goes on, we're going to learn more about it. But for right now, it's just hilarious. Following the Iron Druid Chronicles, this series also is very much urban fantasy light. It's its own take on it, but you still don't get the really dark Dresden-y type vibes. This book does take the whole genre in a completely different direction. Al is an older guy who doesn't really practice a kind of magic that's used very much in popular urban fantasy, or, any fantasy right now. He's very plain compared to the Atticus O'Sullivans and Harry Dresdens of the genre. Because the hero is so plain, this allows the witty banter back and forth between the characters to really shine, because you're not distracted by this big, overpowered hero. Al can fight, sure, but his real strength is in making teams and in outfitting them with magic and being more the, I don't want to say Gandalf, but kind of the Gandalf. He's more the strategic guy. Instead of being the guy who casts Fireball to solve all his problems. The biggest drawback for this book for me, though, was that the mystery wasn't as complicated as a lot of other mysteries in urban fantasy that I've read. But the mystery really isn't the point here. The relationship between the characters really makes this an interesting read. And watching them work together is actually really fun. The clues are really easy to explain away, and a lot of times Al just asks his hacker friend what to do. A red herring or two would have also been nice. But where the focus on solving the mystery ends, the story really starts to take off. Again, this is one of those stories that builds on the very quirky side characters more than on the OP protagonist himself. Each character is someone interesting that you really wouldn't meet in real life. And the dialogue is like a dance of wits between characters who you really care about and the authorities who are also trying their hardest to solve the case but really don't know what they're doing. Because, magic and people who don't want to look at magic, they're going to miss the point. Every character in this book really feels like they have their own voice and nobody sounds the same as anybody else. It's one point of view, but this is a problem I see in books with multiple points of view where it just sounds like one point of view with different people's names slapped on it. It ain't like that. Finally, something that I really enjoyed that a lot of readers won't is the crude humor. And that's because I'm trash. No, seriously, I laugh out loud at most of it. For example, there is a character named Buckfoy. Yes, that's the name he chose for himself. It makes me happy every time I read it. Some people just don't appreciate Buck's humor, and that's okay. Go read something else. But me, I want to sit down with Buck, have a beer, and, get to know him. I had a lot of fun with this book, and I cannot wait for the sequels, and I sincerely recommend it. If you like what I do, hit the subscribe button and join the Caffeination. We'd love to have you. I post bookish videos at least weekly, mostly doing reviews, book discussions, and I try to do books that aren't like super popular on BookTube, but still kind of have a following so we can all have fun with it. If you have an opinion, and I know you do, leave me a comment down below. And if you think that I kind of suck at this whole BookTube thing, leave me a comment down below and I will try to suck better next time. Bye!